either coffee with Kilroy, or you can fill in the phrase beverage in a book. My beverage, well, you can fill in that too. Coffee, still trying some of the new stuff. Nobody's curious, but that's okay. The book, well, this is an interesting one. This is Vox Blaster, a D66 SHMUP game book by Adam C. Mitchell. And it's now going by ACM Games for Mr. Mitchell. And you might recall, or you might be able to find on my playlist of game books and more game books and everything in between, that Mr. Mitchell has done a few books that I've covered. He did the General Quarters, which is a D66 game book adventure, and these D66s, like this one right here, the concept behind these are kind of a choose-your-own-adventure type setting, but instead of just having choices and branches that go out from those choices, you roll dice. You roll 2 6-sided dice and read the numbers. Read one is 1 to 6, and the other one 1 to 6. So you end up with a result anywhere from 11 to 66. So there's some chaos, there's some randomness, but you still interact with the book. So it's got the choose your own adventure, a little bit RPG feel, and the dice kind of keep it fresh. So there's a lot of replayability. This one, you're a sub commander. This one is a D88 survival game book, and this one is it's modern ops situation. A lot of stuff going on in this one, and this one's relatively good size, good thickness. This one, I think, was one of the earlier ones. This is back to the D66, and this is where you play the virus. Again, I'll put these in the description, but you can find these in the playlist as well. And then there was a follow-up to that one, iVirus Asymptomatic Carrier, which continues on this story here. So this one, what is this? Well, this one is a SHMUP game book. What is a SHMUP game book? Well, a little bit of context. I did cover another book that was not from Mr. Mitchell, but I covered Nova Burn, which is a tabletop SHMUP action. I need some coffee with all this SHMUP going on. And this one, SHMUP is the, the shoot 'em. See what this one says SHMUP is. I think it said it somewhere. SHMUP, or STGs, these are shooters, shoot 'em up video games. So shoot 'em up video games, SHMUPs. This one is kind of more of almost a roll and write type situation. This one goes into his D66 type game book here. So let's take put those off to the side here. Let's take a look inside here. On the back, this one's a relatively thick one too. This one might be his thickest one yet. And there's a lot of color, graphics, and everything in here. Welcome to Vox Blaster, Captain. Your mission to save the Earth starts here. You are the top space fighters in the Earth's Galaxy Defense Force. An unknown alien enemy has come from beyond the galaxy rim with one thing on its mind: Earth. Can you stop them before they lay in their forces on Earth? This D66 game book is a homage to the classic SHMUP games of the 80s. With that in mind, expect a lot of tropes and loose plot that was a staple of this type of console game. This game book also has elements of the standard war game, rules, light RPG, and a traditional game book. It also includes a light game mechanics, a point system. You can beat the game's elite, turn-based combat. This is the first book in the ACM Games console series. So maybe ACM is going to be for console games series. With that, I'm remiss that I did not start out with Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday, because this fits into the sci-fi element of my Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. So not only are you going to have some coffee with me, we're going to do some Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday today. And I'm glad it's Saturday. I know each one of you have your own things in life, and so maybe watching YouTube or listening to me drool on is one of your releases. Wow, you need to get a life. But I had a tough week this week. Started off with colonoscopy and polyps and diverticulitis and sick kids. And actually, when I was running to go get medicine for one of my sick kids, got in a car accident. So I've had a week. Nothing compared to what each one of you probably do on a regular basis. But I'm just glad it's Saturday. I'm glad to have some coffee. I'm glad you're joining me for it. Or with it. Hopefully you got something to drink too. Hope so. So let's look in this bad boy here. This is 1 to 2 players. Interesting. These are all solo. This is 1 to 2, so it'd be interesting how that's going to be incorporated, that we have multiple players now. Color in here, a lot of color there, new logo there for his game company. You've got the introduction, how to play, player sheet, main game, power-up table, cheat codes. There are some tropes here. Leaderboard, design notes, spare player sheets, about the author, other D66 game books. All right. There you have it. Here's your introduction. Here's how to play. See those little symbols there? Those kind of remind me of some of the codes you might have in some of these games. But you need to unlock those, and then you unlock special features. I mean, he really is he's leaning heavy into the 80s console games here. It tells you how to use the dice and dice codes. Here's your combat and hull, pilot points, switch mechanic, shields. You've got green, amber, and red. A little bit of a bend there. So those are your different damage there for your shields. Here's the ship transformation. You've got level 1, level 2, and level 3. Basic fighter, advanced fighter, super fighter. Here's a Vox fighter, Vox interceptor, and Vox destroyer. Here's your victory points. So you're going up against the Vox here, if I'm pronouncing that correct. Your laser cannon and ammo roll, blaster tokens, code words, non-D66 sections, and completing the game, power-ups. A lot of stuff here, right? This is a little bit more than his normal rules. We're already on page 12 here. Mothership, that looks formidable. Turn-based combat. And then you got a player sheet. So about 14 pages. Here's your player sheet where you're going to keep track of all the good stuff, your player shields, mothership attacks, all kinds of stuff here. So CBT hull, that's combat hull, victory maybe? I don't know. I should have been paying more closer attention to the rules. Here's your mission brief. So this is your first mission. And then if you're playing this game solo, roll your first D66 section. If you're playing this game as 2-player, each player should roll a D6 to decide who is player 1 and who is player 2. Whoever rolls the highest becomes player 1 in the game. Roll your first D66 and go down. So that's one of the things about these games. I mean, I went through these 16 pages, but I really can't do a whole lot more because like with any choose-your-own-adventure type book, there's spoilers, right? So you'll roll, and then you'll start going through this book page by page, whatever you roll. And so, God, need the coffee tonight. Got to get ready for a full day here. So we'll take you to that page, and then you'll take off from there. So don't want to spoil too much here, but there's a lot of images in here. Like this is 5 if you rolled I don't know how you get to a 5. Maybe it tells you how to get there, but there's all kinds of. I'll flip a little bit through here, but normally there'd be kind of a spoiler. But there's a lot more art in this book, as you can see. A lot more of these images that are, again, very evocative of, those shoot 'em up games of the 80s. Whether you played them at the arcade or had them on your Atari or Intellivision or whatever you had. I had an Intellivision. My next door neighbor had an Atari. The television was a little bit more boxy in the characters. So like you roll here, if you rolled a 1-1, you'd start here, and then there's some codes on there. Remember, you got to get those codes to unlock stuff. So there's a lot of stuff in here. I mean, there's a lot in this book, but really can't show it all because you got to roll to get to this stuff. You just can't have me just turn into the pages. But there, again, there's a lot more art in this book than maybe in some of the previous books here. So let's try to get to the end without spoiling too much here. Here's your power-up table. So this is where you get some power-ups. Got to have power-ups. Here's your cheat codes. So when you unlock those different codes, you get certain things. Here's max invincibility, unlimited ammo. Gotta love that. Max reroll. I mean, this is, you might want to reroll sometimes. Here's the leaderboard. So what you've got to do is, those are the numbers you got to beat for victory points. Remember putting your names in there. I did that quite a bit. You get in there and just go crazy. If the button's stuck, you got all A's on there. Design notes, how I came up with this. The Gamebook's theme and mission, if you will, was planned and designed by my 10-year-old son. Look at that. Getting the whole family involved in this now. A spare player sheet, so you got some more player sheets here. So if you want to use these or make a copy of these or what you want to do, but they're front and back there. So you got some more player sheets, and then you've got a little bit about him, and then other game books. So there's General Quarters, got that there. There's MIA, got that. Coming soon, Striker Flight. Look at that. That looks cool. It's going to be a Apache Gulf War D88 survival book. So now we're back to those survival books, which is kind of what the MIA was. So there you have it. Mr. Mitchell is keeping it real. Keep pumping these bad boys out here. So I wasn't the first. I've had this for a while here, a few weeks now, but I've been trying to clear some space, and I had some other stuff in the queue ahead of it, so I was waiting to get this out. And Mr. Mitchell, or Adam, was actually messaging me like, when are you gonna get this? So I'm getting it to you now, Adam. Sorry for the delay, but did I tell you I had a tough week? There you have it, for Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. Love to know what you think about this. I enjoyed these books. I need to play these more. And the nice thing about these books that, they're choose your own adventure, but they're not one and done. Or typically a choose your own adventure is maybe, 3 or 4 and done, depending on how many branches there are, because pretty soon you figure out, okay, this is the optimal path, and let's do that and not goof around. Are some that have multiple endings, then that might have a little bit more playability or replayability. These have quite a bit because of the random nature to it. So you're sure you're going to see some same things. You're going to get some re-rolls. Interesting here, there's like a re-roll power up, so you can like, oh geez, I know what that is. I don't want to do that again. I want to do something else. That's kind of interesting how you can kind of start mitigating, the dice rolls. But there's quite, I find there's quite a bit of playability in here, replayability in here as well. The storylines are pretty good. I mean, this is more, Das Boot or war game submarine thing. This one is more truly kind of like a choose your own adventure. And this one gets, to my opinion, a little bit more RPG-ish, role-playing game-ish, and how you're kind of building up your character and collecting stuff and using stuff and needing to have certain stuff to do certain things. So, and this gets a little bit more into the RPG aspect. This one says it does, so it'll be interesting if this is continuing in that vein there. That one that's coming out, that one probably is going to be more like this, and so we'll have quite a bit of RPG feel to it as well. So anyway, I wasn't the first one to get this out. I think Combat Board Games might have got a piece out on this. He's pretty tight with Adam, and so I think he gets his stuff out pretty quick. but it has been out there. So I'd like to know if anybody's got this, picked it up off Amazon. That's where I got it, or what you think about this. Or if you're really into the war game stuff, is this like too sci-fi, too, arcade-ish for you? That's the intent here, guys. Or just does not your cup of tea or cup of joe. Is this something that you're not really interested in? Or you like some of this gameplay here and interested or intrigued by having a novel approach to it. This feels kind of like the keeping with the theme that Adam has sent here. This is kind of like the Tron of these kind of books. I was playing war games when Tron the movie came out, and so that was kind of a diversion of, well, that's kind of different, that's kind of weird, that was groundbreaking for its time. So this is kind of the Tron of these war games. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Love to know your thoughts on this or any of these books. Feel free to comment, chime in. Thank you so much for stopping by. I needed it this week. I needed to get an outlet, talk, even if it's to thin air, but hopefully you're picking it up and hear in spirit, at least, and watching it on YouTube later on. The best way I know that you stop by is, you can like and do that stuff. That's fine. I'm not going to discourage it, but, drop a comment, start a dialogue. Say that you love this, or say that you hate this, or say that you don't understand this. Whatever you want to say, it's all fair game. Be respectful. That's it. Say what you want. Love to hear from you. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one. Don't listen to me complain about anything. Why would I complain? Who would listen to me? Anyway, thanks again. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks for watching.